And now, the thrilling continuation of the SML podcast.
So, thanks to her working in a hospital, every plague known to the universe somehow finds its way to my house sometimes, and I'm dealing with a fun little cold right now.
I'm also dealing with a cold. How about that?
What's up, everyone? This is Joe, SML Podcast. Super sick today, and because I am sick, I have apparently driven away Kris and Pappy. But in their place, I am honored to be joined by the wonderful David D'Angelo of Yacht Club Studios. David, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm joining you in the sick club.
We are in quarantine together. We just bumped into each other, and I was like, hey, I know you. Let's talk about things.
We should do a podcast.
So for the people who don't know who you are, tell us a bit about who you are and what you do.
So I'm from Yacht Club Games. We made Shovel Knight, and I'm one of the guys here. We're a really small team. We all do a bunch of things. I mainly do programming. So I'm responsible for things like making the game work, putting in bosses and enemies and all that.
So Shovel Knight has, to put it lightly, it has gotten a little bit big. It seemed to show up on Kickstarter, and then there's a number of former Way Forward guys on the crew, right?
Yeah, I mean, we all started. We all used to work at Way Forward. Yeah.
And then you branched off, did your own thing, and the game just seemingly exploded in popularity to the point that you guys have your own amiibo now.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
There is a Shovel Knight amiibo out in stores right now. If you could find it. I have one on my shelf just staring at me right now. It's hanging out next to Peach. I think he's hitting on her.
Yeah, I actually don't have one yet.
How don't you have one? You made the thing.
Well, everyone was super concerned about getting units in the stores, so, we sacrificed having them here in order to get as many into stores as possible.
Have you been to stores looking for them, or are they just...
I did go to one store, and they were sold out there, and the guy at the store, who didn't really know Shovel Knight, but he worked in the electronic section, right? He went, oh, Shovel Knight, yeah, Shovel Knight amiibo, yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, that's really rare. That's a unicorn. Like, oh no, what's happened?
Do you follow the amiibo rarities and everything like that?
Not really. I don't follow them too much. I'm not much of a collector myself. I like them a lot, and every once in a while I get one, but yeah, I'm not super into that world.
Yeah, I kind of follow it. I don't really follow what's unicorn and what's super rare and whatnot. Right. In the beginning, I know the hard ones to get were Wii Fit Trainer, Marth, and the villager from Animal Crossing. And you would find Kirby everywhere, and now for some reason Kirby and Samus are considered unicorns that, oh my god, you can never find them. Except those were out for months on end. Plentifully available everywhere, and now it's villager, big deal. I need Kirby. So, Who knows? Whatever. I got the ones I like. That's all that's important.
Yeah. You never know. Nintendo, when Nintendo will decide to make more or not make more and that kind of stuff.
So I know Mega Man is getting a gold amiibo. Are we going to see a gold Shovel Knight?
I don't know. That'd be pretty cool, but there's nothing in the works right now.
Before I get into too many of my own questions and chattery, my co-host Pappy, who is military and at work right now and is unable to join us, he was cool enough to send an email beforehand last night, and I figured I would read that off with a couple of his questions. His email says, I had the pleasure of meeting one of the Shovel Knight members at the PlayStation Experience in Las Vegas in 2014. It was delightfully awkward. I'm glad that even though you guys were getting a lot of interest, there's no question in this paragraph. I just wanted to congratulate you on being one of the two things I actually enjoyed that entire event.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Question.
I hope the awkward person wasn't me, but it probably was.
Who knows? He's terrible with names. So he was an awkward looking guy. His real name was Taras.
Ross.
Taras. Taras.
That's definitely no one here.
All right. Well, no, that's his name.
Oh, that's his name. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Usually if I mention that, people are like, yeah, I remember a goofy ass name like that.
Yeah, I don't remember a Taras, so maybe it was one of my coworkers.
If anything, he was there chatting a lot about Jake Kaufman as well.
Oh,
because we've known Jake for quite a while.
Jake's the best.
We love Jake. One day I will get Jake on this show. This is 155 episodes, and since episode 1, I've said I would get Jake on this show. And now I have people who made the game that his music is in on the show before him.
Well, it's tough to even get Jake in the office here, so I would imagine it'd be impossible to get him on a show.
He's like the busiest man in the world, and
he is very busy.
I don't know how he has time to even post pictures of dogs on Twitter, but... Anyway, Pappy does have a handful of questions. The first one is, what made you guys think, let's make a side-scroller Mega Man-style game, but with a shovel?
Well, I mean, the shovel really came out of the gameplay. So we knew we wanted to make an NES-style game. We wanted to have simple actions. We were sort of looking at, as the main inspiration, Zelda 2. We really liked the down thrust in that game and felt it was not explored as much as it could be. So we said, hey, let's have a down thrust be our main mechanic. You know, what goes along really well with that? And we sort of were thinking, well, if you flipped an enemy and then exposed its underbelly, then you could down thrust it, and that'd be a really cool combo. And we kept doing this flip motion, and the only thing that made sense, like you don't flip with a sword, right? You don't flip with any other weapon. It's like sort of this digging motion, and the shovel was what came to mind. And then pairing Knight with that just was the goofiest thing that came to mind.
It is a pretty great idea to have a knight whose weapon is a shovel. And it just seems to have worked perfectly so far. His next question is where we get to all laugh at him. He asks, why is my 8-year-old niece better at the game than I am?
Well, that's because he's a terrible person.
So you have met him, okay?
Yeah, no, I mean honestly, picking up those games young, I think like you're more able to like focus on learning the gameplay and practicing and getting better at it, right? I think when you experience it when you're older, it's a lot harder to do that.
Well, he did just turn 35 last week, so his bones are getting old and decrepit now.
Yeah, he's super old.
I got 2 months until I'm 35, so I'm still like hella young right now. His next question is, what is next for you guys?
I mean, right, we're still working on finishing Shovel Knight, so we're adding more content. We just released Plague of Shadows last year, and
which is fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. And this year we'll be doing a King Knight expansion and Spectre Knight playable campaign and body swap mode and battle mode. So all that, hopefully, we're going to be wrapping up this year.
Now, do all of those stem from the Kickstarter? I was one of the guys who backed the Kickstarter, but I don't remember what all the different stretch goals were. So are these still all part of that original Kickstarter stretch?
Yeah, those are all stretch goals from the original Kickstarter.
Jesus, I kind of feel bad about this now because like you guys are working for how many more years adding content to the game, and so far with Plague Knight, it's just been a free update.
Yeah. I mean, we could have done it in a lazy style. Like, when we originally thought of making the playable campaigns, we thought of it sort of like a Mega Man Powered Up or, a Sonic and Knuckles where you're just sort of slotting a new character in. into that old game and not really changing much. And I mean, we just have a habit of over delivering. I think like we want to surprise everyone when we release stuff. So I mean, that's the real reason we're going overboard and putting so much work into it.
What the hell are you guys doing for money?
Well, I mean, luckily Shovel Knight's been doing, selling well, and we've been able to do things like the amiibo and the physical release to sort of extend his life. So hopefully we won't run out of money.
Fingers crossed. The physical release actually reminds me of a question that someone was asking me last night. What is the story that happened with the Xbox One version of the physical release?
I mean, we can't go into too much detail, but yeah, I mean, essentially we tried to make it happen, and because of the rules, the rules Microsoft had, we weren't able to make one, essentially. And we tried our best, and we're still working through it, and maybe it will happen one day.
Is it rules based on like production numbers or just game content?
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk about it.
All right, it's not completely off the table. It's something that we still might see.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, we really would love to make one. Like, I mean, we put it up for pre-orders, and the pre-orders looked really great. So it wasn't for sales or anything like that. I mean, we were really hoping to make one, and we thought, like, actually there would be a big community there, just because, there's a big, like younger audience on Xbox that people sort of forget about, like the people that are buying Minecraft, people that were like super into Castle Crashers, right? There's sort of that younger audience there. People think of it more of like an adult system, and I think that's not really right.
Yeah, I think the tide has changed where people look at the Xbox as like the dude bro console. I honestly think the PlayStation is starting to become the dude bro console with a lot more emphasis on shooters and violent stuff, where the Xbox is kind of branching out into everything kind of territory.
Right. Yeah, well, and a lot, because it sort of, I think, had that dude bro, representation before, like people bought it. Adults buy it, and then they have kids, right? And then their kids play the system that the adults bought. And it's sort of like that makes it transition, I think, into like a family console.
And then I know the story behind this, but a lot of people are curious of why the physical version is $24.99 instead of $19.99. I figured you could explain that for us as well.
Oh, so that stems, we wanted it at $19.99, and we went to retailers, and they said $19.99 is great, right? And we announced it at $19.99, and then we went, back and forth more with the retailers, and the retailers essentially said, I thought it would work out, but looking at it more, we're going to end up, our rules say we have to put you in the discount section in the store if it's $19.99. If it's anything below $20, it automatically goes into the discount area. So they said, we're going to put you in the discount section, like we don't have an option. So from our point of view, we think the game should be $24.99, but we can take you out of that section. And we said, we were really, mad about it, obviously, because we didn't want it to be that much. But in the end, we thought it would be better to be out of that section, so we did things to try to make up for it. Like we put the soundtrack code in there. We beefed up the manual as much as possible. But yeah, that was essentially the story, is that we were just trying to make sure we weren't ignored at retail.
That you guys weren't thrown into like the Barbie bin.
Right.
And the shovelware bin with all the Wii games that haven't sold in the past decade.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good move to make sure you guys got legit shelf space instead of, like, at least now you're in the heavy plastic cases that you have to use the magnet to open
right.
instead of just being tossed in that cardboard bin.
Yeah, we were really worried people wouldn't be able to find it in the store, right? I mean, a lot of times those discount areas are just, they're often who knows land. And, like when we posted it, we posted a picture on our website of the Walmart bin where it's just like a huge pile of games, right? That you have to dig through to find it. Which, I mean, that would be a good way to find Shovel Knight, obviously. But
like 48 copies of Deal or No Deal for the 3DS.
right.
Oh man.
Yeah, so we just figured we put it out there $24.99, and retailers like to discount games anyway, so when they could have fun discounting it to $19.99 all they wanted and get the price that we actually wanted to sell it at.
Plus, now people get the soundtrack as well, which is friggin' phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because Jake, as we already said, is an absolute marvel when it comes to music and stuff like that.
I mean, he's amazing.
Another question that I have from a friend of the show by the name of Shiz Blacka. His question, and I quote, was, when are they going to put bitch-ass pussy mode in the game so I can actually beat it?
Oh, man. Well, there's like 300 plus cheat codes, and maybe half of those that make the game easier. So he could find whatever, one of those. I don't know if it's named that quite.
It's not explicitly named bitch-ass pussy mode.
Yeah, it's not explicitly named that, but it might be the equivalent.
Whiny little baby mode, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Got to keep it family friendly.
Yeah, big baby mode.
Unfortunately, our show has never been family friendly, but we're trying to keep it that way a little bit for this episode. But Shiz Blacka, he just had to go ruin it for everyone.
Yeah.
So you guys started off with the Kickstarter. How did the Kickstarter come to be, and how much, what was your initial plan with the Kickstarter?
So I mean, the plan was we put it up for 75,000. That was like the bare minimum we thought we could make the game, like using our own funds and all that, and making a much smaller game, right? And then, it did really well. So once it did really well, we started changing, what we started building the game like we really wanted to make, I guess. Yeah. And from the beginning, it was really, we thought about doing like publisher stuff and that kind of thing, but it was really more like we came from working at Way Forward with lots of publishers. So we wanted to do it all our own. We wanted to handle it on our own. And we really thought, the most important part of the Kickstarter actually was building a community, because we came from this studio where our names were really unknown. Like, we had made lots of games that people probably know, like Contra 4, A Boy and His Blob, Blood Rain Betrayal, Double Dragon Neon, but, no one knew we were the people making those games. So we thought Kickstarter was really the best way to get our names out in front of people's faces, and people could rally and, spread it that way.
Nice. You mentioned A Boy and His Blob. What are your thoughts on the fact that game's getting a re-release later this month?
Oh, it's awesome. We're so excited about that.
Were you guys involved in that at all? Were any of the old team involved in discussing?
Yeah. Sean, actually, that was the first game he directed. And I had a little role on that. I recorded the boy's voice. Yeah, which was pretty amusing. That was like my second day of work at Way Forward, was recording the voice from Blob.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a ton of fun. We love that game.
And now it's finally going to get an audience beyond just the Wii. So now,
yeah, it's very cool. I'm very interested to see how that will be received.
Yeah, I was excited to see that was announced coming from Majesco. I honestly thought Majesco was gone. I had no clue they were still around.
Yeah, I think they're a little tiny mighty force now.
It seems like that, and then Gone Home from Midnight City, which is a branch of Majesco. They just came back out of nowhere. They're like, guess what, bitches, we're back, and here's games.
Right.
So it's good to see. You've mentioned that you guys had a smaller vision with the game with Kickstarter, but as you have told us, you have still potentially years worth of plans for additions to the game that were all funded through Kickstarter. what kind of stuff has been added, and is that stuff that you guys wanted originally in the game, or is this stuff that you're just thinking after the fact, like, hey, this would be a cool idea to add now that we have the time and funding to do it?
Well, I mean, in the original base game, we thought like the smallest thing we could do was like a simple Mega Man kind of game. Like you fight 8 levels and then you fight the final boss, right? So we really built out Shovel Knight a lot. We added villages, we added really a lot of world building, a lot of story, a lot of, made the levels more like an adventure. Like you're looking for secrets and you're going off on side paths. We added lots of additional levels. We added the additional like wandering encounter bosses. It's a lot bigger than a standard Mega Man, right?
Much, yeah.
So that was really like what we built extra in the base game. And then, we really didn't even think about the stretch goals. Really just came from the Kickstarter. Some of it was like things we wanted to do. Like we really liked the Mega Man powered up, like playing as other characters in the game. We thought that's like a fun way to extend it. Some of it came from just talking to people. Like the battle mode was just like everyone said, "Oh man, I wish you could fight each other as the knights," that kind of thing. And we're just like, "Okay, that sounds really fun. Let's like add it as a stretch goal," without really thinking about it. And some of them were like the music player was one of the stretch goals, which we made into the bard, right? So some of it it's like a mixture of both of like stuff we wanted to put in there and stuff we just like once we were thinking about it more, thinking about how to make it bigger, like here's fun ways we could make it bigger.
Nice. With all these stories that have been coming out of all these Kickstarters that have made a lot of money and then the developers just like disappear or the game never happens, how does it feel to actually be a successful Kickstarter story where not only did you guys put out what you promised, but it's fucking awesome, one, and then two, you're continuing to make it even more fucking awesomer-ish? What's the plural? the next tier?
It feels really good to us that people think like people hold us up as a great Kickstarter, right? Like that was one of the things we were concerned about the whole time. When you work, it's not that much different actually from working for a publisher. You're making this game that people have expectations for, but don't know 100% what you're making, right? So when you go to deliver it, you're just hoping it's something they like. And you're hoping it's like what they envisioned, and probably you're hoping it's more than what they envisioned, right?
Yeah.
In some ways we were sort of practiced at doing that because we were practiced at working with publishers so much. But like it was definitely a big concern when you're making the game and you're seeing all these Kickstarters get, badly received. Something like, Broken Age, was going through all its turmoil while we were making Shovel Knight.
There's the mighty number 9 saga that's been dragging on for quite a while.
Yeah. So like from our point of view, it's like we feel bad for them because I don't think anyone goes out there trying to make a bad thing or trying to underdeliver or trying to go late, or under-promising or changing their plans slightly in a way that, makes people feel, not happy with what they're getting.
Yeah.
Most of the time I think they're making, like splitting up Broken Age, I think was probably a really great decision and like made the game way better for the people that got it, right? But it sort of just soured people's impression of what they were doing. In our point of view, it like, it's hard to know how people are going to receive things, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so our point like we were always scared, like even building the game and releasing it, like we made it much bigger than a Mega Man, right? Which is what most people anticipated. And we didn't know, like, are people going to be mad that we made it that kind of thing, right?
How dare they make this game longer than I wanted?
Well, I mean, you never know, right? Yeah, it's like, well, I was looking for just a Mega Man game, and you delivered me like more like Zelda adventure. It's like that's not what I wanted. You
You gave
wasted
me
the money.
bonus stages, you pricks.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to know, right? Yeah, so I mean, it really feels nice that we can say that we don't have people upset. We wanted to make people happy that they, gave us money and, uh, took a chance on us, right?
Have you guys gotten any kind of actual stupid, pissed off feedback at all?
Not really from our Kickstarter backers. I mean, most of our Kickstarter backers have been really, really happy. I mean, we get weird, bad feedback just about random stuff. Like people are mad about the amiibo. People are mad about like Kratos being in the Sony platforms, or whatever there are always little weird things people don't like here and there.
What are some of the dumbest gripes that you guys have gotten?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. It's like it's really odd. It's hard to like even remember dumb ones because it's like how could you even think that? Like, I mean, people are mad. Like were mad at us that we went on sale on like some platforms more than other platforms. Which is just like from our point of view, it's like I can't keep count of those things, right? I don't even know. It's like if someone asks us to go on sale and it's like a timing that makes sense, then we say sure. But other than that, like who knows what platform we've been on sale on? Yeah, I mean people get mad about the oddest things, to be honest.
Have you gotten any feedback from Nintendo diehards pissed off that you guys are on PlayStation and Xbox now as well?
Actually, we've gotten surprising little of that. I think the most complaining we've gotten about that is just the like exclusive boss fights.
Yeah.
But really, people have been like almost oddly accepting of it. Like, oh, like we had the Nintendo exclusivity. It's like we can let our child like go to wander off now.
Our baby could go free now.
Right. It's like they're an adult that like we're okay with them. Shovel Knight going to college. Right.
Plus, now Nintendo owners get an even bigger exclusive if they pick up the amiibo with multiplayer.
Yeah, that's been pretty crazy. I think the content we've added for the amiibo is definitely much bigger than we thought it would be, and hopefully satisfies all those people that were upset about the exclusivity on the other platform.
So, what all does it unlock? On the 3DS, unlock some challenge stages.
Yeah, so 3DS and Wii U, you get challenge stages and basically what we call custom night, which is so the more gold you collect, you level up the amiibo, the characters, and every level you gain, you get new abilities. So there's 50 levels for Shovel Knight, and so basically you get 50 abilities. Some of those abilities are new relics. Some of them are customizations like costumes. There's like palette swaps. There's new like charge attacks. There's just a ton of stuff there. It's basically like a totally different way to play the game where you're sort of ignoring buying stuff in the village, and in contrast, you're just leveling up and seeing what you randomly unlock. And then on the Wii U, there's exclusively a co-op mode where you can play with a friend, either as the classic version where you're buying stuff in the town, or you can play as that custom night. And then there's also co-op challenges. That's it.
And you guys actually did something for the collectors out there in that you can use the amiibo without opening the box.
Yeah, that's right. That's been a way bigger story than we thought it would be.
I know. I saw an actual like news post. I don't know if it was Kotaku or somewhere else today of talking about how such a big deal it is that you can use the amiibo without opening it.
Right.
And
yeah, it's funny because like we released the amiibo and no one posted any articles about it, except for posting about how you could scan it through the box. Like, it seems so bizarre to us. Like, wouldn't you want to talk about the co-op or the challenges or, any of the content unlocks? But, like, no, all people want to talk about was the box.
Well, I guess they're excited.
It's cool. At least they're talking about it, which is good.
I personally didn't give a shit, and as soon as I got it, I opened it up and I sat it on my shelf. Same as I've done with every other amiibo I have.
That's awesome.
I open them all. There's no point in keeping them in the box, in my eyes. They just take up more space that way. Yeah. At least this way I could have them mingled around all my other statues. Like I have I have Charmander or Charizard sitting on top of my statue for the Order. And then I have I think Pikachu hanging out with Scorpion. So it's the mixing of worlds is always fun. Ness is chilling out with my Titanfall statue. Gotta love it.
Cool.
but yeah, not needing to unbox it garnered a mysteriously huge amount of press.
Right. Yeah.
What made you guys decide to do that?
I mean, really, it was a combination of two things. It was we got a lot of people asking us, hey, like I really like to collect these, and I hate that I have to take it out of the box to do it. And we didn't actually know why we couldn't scan it through the box. We thought maybe it was the plastic. We had no idea. And when we were in the process of making it, we found out, they put this this little NFC blocker square in there. So that's why you can't scan it. And we essentially said, and we take this out. Like, will Nintendo care? And Nintendo said, it's your product. It's your decision to make. So we decided, the content we were making didn't really, you couldn't go into the store and with your 3DS and really, unlock everything and take it home. So to us, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Keep it in there. So we decided just not to go with it, and hopefully that would make everyone happier.
Nice. The happier people are, the better, I guess.
Yeah. I mean that's really like we try to make as many people happy as we can when we make anything. So if any way we can do that, we're going to go for it.
I know custom amiibos are a pretty big thing. Have you seen any cool custom colored or custom painted Shovel Knight amiibos?
God, they've been really amazing. Yeah, like this one person on Twitter, I wish I knew his or her name off the top of my head, but they've just been making a lot of the order in a quarter using the Shovel Knight amiibo. It's been really, really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting that. It's real. I mean, it's so talented. It's crazy how talented people are. Yeah. I mean, there's a Black Knight one. There's a King Knight one.
I saw a green and a gold, so like an Emerald Knight and then a Gold Knight.
Yeah. There's a Gold Knight. I mean, really, really cool stuff.
Are you sad that Nintendo didn't pick Shovel Knight to be in Smash Brothers?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course we're sad. I mean, that's like, but it's like so far beyond anything we could ever imagine. I've been addicted to Smash Brothers since '64, and to think that like a character that I made, excuse me, there's a sickness coming up. I mean, the character that we made would be in there. It's just, I mean, it doesn't even like compute in my brain. Yeah.
I'm bummed. A lot of people had their hopes up, especially when the amiibo was announced that Shovel Knight would be in Smash. But
yeah. I mean, oh well.
We needed another Fire Emblem character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Fire Emblem is pretty cool if you ask me.
Gotta love it. I have my new Fire Emblem pre-ordered. I know that. So
yeah, I'm excited for that one.
What version are you getting?
Oh, I don't know. It's like that's the only thing I'm not excited for, honestly. just because I don't like making a choice. I don't like having to. It's like, oh man, I don't like having to make a decision so much. I feel like that's what we do all day is make decisions on everything, and it's like I just want something to decide for me.
That's why I went with the special edition, so it includes everything.
Yeah, I might have to do
But
that.
it's like Pokemon. They started the buy one version or the other, and Mega Man Battle Network started that with the third game, and that's kind of where I stopped playing them because I didn't want to have to pick and choose between do I get these chips in this game or do I get this story branch in this game? Screw it, I won't play either of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. And I mean, they sound like they're like interwoven a good amount, which will be cool to
Yes.
see. So it might be worth or more like interesting to play. I guess like I mean, Pokemon, it's all about collecting them all, but it's not really like the stories aren't interwoven or anything like that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to see.
I think someone on Reddit did a breakdown of all the differences between the three versions of the game, and in total, there's something
Oh, wow.
like 79 different maps combined between the three games. So it
Oh,
looks to
wow.
be absolutely worth picking it up, the full bundle, if you could still get it.
Okay. Well, that sounds crazy.
So what other games do you play?
I mean, I play everything. I haven't played a lot recently, um, because I've been busy. I've started Undertale. Didn't get that far in. Although it sounds like it's not that long. It's sort of hard to tell playing it.
I've heard so much about that game, but I'm not a big PC gamer, so I haven't actually
Yeah,
played it
I'm
at
not a
all.
huge PC gamer either, but people talked about it so much, and I mean, people talked about it being so much like Mother and Earthbound that I mean, that's like, I mean, one of my favorite games of all time is Mother 3. So any mention of that makes me immediately grasp onto it. Uh, yeah, I started that. Yeah, I mean, I play everything. It's hard to say.
I'm more of a fan of Earthbound over Mother 3. I'll
Oh,
always
really?
have Earthbound deep in my heart will be my
Oh,
favorite game.
wow. Oh, I've never heard that before, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Mother 3 is so good.
My biggest gripe is like I imported the game and I know I could get a ROM and play the game. It just I want to play it the right way.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
I know
well,
I
of
could
course.
emulate it. I want to do it the right way if I'm going to play it.
Yeah, well, actually, Sean was kind enough to, I mean, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but he burned it onto a cart for me to play
Nice.
with the translation. So I got to play it what felt like the right way, on a Game Boy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've seen bootleg carts at conventions like MagFest before, and I'm always tempted to grab it, but I mean,
yeah, I
I
mean, so
own the
it's,
game. I did the right thing and I imported the game. So I shouldn't have any qualms about doing a bootleg version, but
yeah.
it just never feels the same. At least with Earthbound, like I could still crack open the Super Nintendo and pop that bastard in and play it every now and again. Plus it's on virtual consoles, so I could play it that way as well.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they bring that. I think there's a push going on right now to bring it to Virtual Console.
Now there's been for years. Let's see if Nintendo
Yeah.
cares enough.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see that game so much. Like, I feel like people really need to like experience it because it feels. I mean, it's just really special. It's a really special game.
Maybe one day I'll bite my tongue and play an emulated version and finally give the game the love that it's due.
Yeah,
There's just so much stuff coming out.
yeah. I mean, that's the trouble is that there's a million games all the time.
So what led to Shovel Knight jumping over to the PlayStation and the Xbox?
I mean, really, it was about we wanted to bring the game to as many people as possible, and that meant like any system with a controller, we wanted to put the game on. So
Engage.
yeah. I mean, and I really like that was a big focus for us. Like, we liked it being on Nintendo platforms first because we thought that's where it made the most sense, right? It's a Nintendo styled game, and it really, I think, is like at home with that audience.
Yeah.
But to us, it was really like we wanted to get as many hands as possible, and we always said that from day one of the Kickstarter. We weren't trying to keep it from people. If you only owned a Sony system and that was the only one you could afford, we wanted to make sure that you could play it. Yeah, so that's where we started, and we just sort of, we reached out to Sony and Microsoft and said, hey, would it be, would you let us publish the game on your system? And it went from there.
And then what led to the inclusion of Kratos and the Battletoads?
That was really, like, from our point of view, we just wanted to make it feel special on those systems. And like, we wanted, if you picked up whatever system you picked up Shovel Knight on, we wanted you to think like, oh, this is like a PS4 exclusive, right? And the way we did on the Wii U, the Wii U, we had Miiverse integration, we had gamepad support, we supported all the controllers. On the 3DS, we had stereoscopic display, we had Street Pass, we had PlayCoin support. We tried to integrate as much of those systems as possible. And when we went to Sony and Microsoft, they said, well, there isn't like too much like that, but we could do an exclusive like fight. That's usually what makes it feel at home on these systems, right? Like, that's what indicates to people like it's special. So we said, so we thought, okay, like, how about, like, we liked Kratos, and we, Microsoft said, Rare's library is pretty much open, and we said, oh my God, like, Battletoads would be just hilarious and like fits really well. That's really where that started.
Wow, so Battletoads were your idea. A lot of people weren't sure if that was something that came from your end or something Microsoft pushed.
No, that was definitely from our end. Battletoads is an amazing NES game. It's like crazy hard and it's stupid, but it's like wild at how inventive and innovative that game was at the time, right? Like, every stage is completely different gameplay, and it's just like really goofy and hilarious.
Have you picked up Rare Replay?
I haven't picked it up yet, actually, but I want to.
I was going to see if you've retried the turbo tunnels anytime recently.
No, I tried it. I tried it at PAX, and when we were making the game, I don't know if you played it, but like, we recreated a version of the turbo tunnel in Shovel Knight, and
significantly easier than the real turbo tunnel.
Well, we have the significantly easier one, and then we actually recreated the exact turbo tunnel.
Oh my God, that's sadistic.
Yeah, and so we played it like a bajillion times in order to recreate it there. Yeah, so it was actually like, at some points we were like, maybe this isn't as hard as people say it is, but then like you practice it like a million times in a row, right? And then like the next day you'd play it and you'd be like, oh yeah, it's impossible.
There's an achievement in Rare Replay for one of the little challenges that they have is to complete the turbo tunnel without any checkpoints, without dying, twice in a row.
Yeah. It's tough.
That's bullshit.
It's tough, but it's actually really well designed, it was actually shocking to us going back to it. Like, they teach you all the elements of the turbo tunnel, like, individually, and really ramp it up, like, in a smart way. It's just like, it doesn't have checkpoints and it's too hard, right? But it's like really, really well crafted. Which was what we thought when we're going back to it. Like, it's probably just like too hard and BS the whole way through. But it wasn't. It was just like designed for an era where people were like not aware that they were playing their own game too much, I think.
It's just really, really well crafted and smartly constructed bullshit.
Yes, exactly.
So our one co-host, Pappy, who asked a couple of questions before, one of his favorite questions to ask people is, while you guys were creating Shovel Knight, what were some of the more popular games that you would play in your downtime, not as like a point of reference or not as a comparison tool, but just something for you to relax and chill out to?
We just play. It was no different than any other time, I guess. We just played whatever came out or whatever was in our backlog or, that kind of thing. If we even had time to play games. Really, when we were making Shovel Knight, we were working 24/7. So, like, I'm not sure anyone actually had time to play any other games. It was like, when Shovel Knight came out, it was basically like a month or 2 months of like, let's play everything that came out in the last year and a half. just marathon games. I'm trying to think like what came out. Like Mario Kart came out pretty like right before us. I remember playing a crap ton of that. I think did Fire Emblem come out then? It might have come out then. Yeah, just like going through all those games. Well, there was a big Super Mario 3D World came out.
Oh, that game is so good.
I think like what Sony and Xbox. They were right. They were right. It was like the turn of they had just released the new consoles. There wasn't much there.
So what kind of stuff are you playing nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, so I mentioned Undertale. I've been trying to get more into phone games, which is really hard.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've been just going through them like Puzzles and Dragons and like Monster Strike and like Clash of Clans and like I played Downwell, which was pretty cool actually.
You mentioned Puzzles and Dragons. Did you check out for the 3DS the Mario Puzzles and Dragons that they had?
No, I haven't played that.
That'd be a fun one to check out.
Yeah, it would be cool to see that. I've been surprised sort of like how unpolished those games seem, which is sort of weird. Like it seems like at least, I mean, it might just be that in terms of translation, like text runs over like the UI box. So it'd be interesting to play like the Nintendo version of that because I'm sure they made them like polish that up a lot for console.
Yeah. So when are we going to see the Shovel Knight mobile match 3 puzzler?
Oh yeah, I mean that would be awesome. Yeah, I mean I would love to see like a good puzzler on iPhone. It feels like like a panel upon kind of game or something where it's like a little bit more intense, right?
I'd love to see Nintendo bring back Tetris Attack or Puzzle League or whatever they need to call it now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean that game is so good.
I'm so bad at that, but I have so many friends who are amazing at those games, and watching them play, it's just mind-numbing to watch two professionals play a solid round of Puzzle League where just time freezes and they just go into a zone, moving all these blocks, creating all these chains, and that's one puzzle series I've never been able to master like that. I mean, I could...
Yeah, well, I mean, it takes you really have to learn the patterns.
I could rock some face at Tetris, but Tetris Attack is a whole new world for me, and I can't do that.
Yeah. That's tough.
But yeah, Shovel Knight, Match 3 Puzzler.
That'd be cool.
Let's get that one off the ground next from Yacht Club.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, I mean, that is something we think about a lot. It's just because like a lot of people are on, a lot of people aren't playing consoles, aren't being brought up with consoles nowadays just because there's so many phone games, and that's like how it's much easier to get your kids playing those, right?
Yeah. So
we think about like how can we sort of like make a Shovel Knight game for phones that sort of brings that audience over to console. It's like if we could be the people that like inspire you to pick up a controller for the first time, like that would be great.
Has there been any thought into creating like a companion app or a companion game? I know the PlayStation 4 game Knack, they had a companion game which was basically just a match 3 puzzler that you would match shit together. And when you did that, you could actually import different things that you've earned into the PlayStation 4 game. So you could get artifacts in the game or collectibles in the game, all done through the mobile app.
I had no idea. No. Yeah, I mean that kind of, I don't know if we'd want to build like a companion thing like that. Like that actually requires like communication between them.
Yeah.
But just like, like getting into Shovel Knight through mobile might be cool. I don't know. Who knows?
Match 3 puzzler. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, we're
copy and paste. Put the Shovel Knight characters in there. All the different jewels will just be the heads of different characters.
That's definitely what we wouldn't want to do.
That's money right there.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, please bring it to Windows Phone because I'm one of those people that owns a Windows Phone.
Yeah, it'll be exclusively on Windows Phone.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Add the Xbox integration and we're set. So any kind of fun stories that you guys have ever had from different press demos or different, like at PAX or E3 that you guys have been showing off the game? Anything fun ever happen?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there's a ton.
Just anything that comes to mind, something fun and goofy, or like someone who played the game for the first time and just reacted way differently than you could have ever expected.
I mean, I don't know.
Looking for some dirt here, trying to dig for dirt.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing actually, that thinking of like sort of goofy people playing the game, is actually having like way too young people playing the game for some reason. Like some parents come with like their 2-year-old, 3-year-old kids, right? And watching them play Shovel Knight is like sort of hilarious. Like they'll be like sitting on the ground in front of like the TV that's like, I don't know, like 8 feet in the air, right? And they can like barely see it. And they're like facing the other direction playing the game, but like still having a really good time for some reason when they're not even looking at the screen.
Hey, they're pushing buttons. That's
and they're like rolling on the ground. It's like they're like just like having fun having a controller in their hand, really. That's been sort of fun.
Kids are adorable.
Kids are adorable.
I'm never gonna have any.
Yeah. I don't know if I could be trusted. Like I'd be happy having a kid once they're like 8 years old. Once they can like feed themselves and like sort of take care of themselves. But before that, it's like I don't know. I'm too afraid I'd do something disastrous.
I'm there with it. I have a niece who I think is just turned 6, and I helped take care of her when she was younger because my brother is kind of a useless dirtbag. He's cleaning up, but he used to be pretty bad, and I used to be like the substitute father, and my wife was basically the substitute mother while he was away, and I think we had enough. That was our fill right there. We don't need anything more. Every time that we're out with friends and they have a kid and they just start screaming, it's always fun to hear my wife say, "Yeah, my ovaries dried up with that." Just, man, I'm not sure I want to ever do the whole kid thing.
Yeah.
Goddamn kids, get off my lawn. So you mentioned that next for Shovel Knight is basically continuing all the Kickstarter stuff. Does Yacht Club have any kind of plans that are not Shovel Knight related?
I mean, really, it's just this finishing this game is what we got on our minds right now. And beyond that, who knows what's happening?
And that'll take clear into the year 2025.
Yeah. When we finish the game in the year 3000, we'll move on to our next game.
When your children's children have finished Shovel Knight.
Right.
When it hits full final release.
Yeah.
On the PlayStation 17.
Yes.
You just keep adding more and more.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully by the end, like, Shovel Knight will be for $15 or whatever, it will be the most obvious platformer you should ever buy. Because it has like an insane amount of content. It
already does. Every time someone's like, "Hey, I have $20. What should I buy on Xbox or on PlayStation?" The first thing is Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight, Binding of Isaac. It's like neck and neck between those two. And you guys you both keep adding more and more content.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't lose its appeal.
Well, I still pick it up every now and then. I not only was I one of the Kickstarter backers dropping my $100 on it so I could get that bitchin' cardboard box to put on my shelf. Yes. I have also since picked it up on PlayStation and Xbox. So I am trying to play it on as many platforms as possible.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
I need to pick up the 3DS version so I can have a physical copy as well, since the Xbox One physical got canceled.
Yeah. That was a bummer.
Yeah, I'll keep my fingers crossed that it eventually comes.
Yeah, I mean, we will too.
Is there anything special that needs to change for that to happen, or is it just like a time will tell kind of deal?
I think it's like a time will tell, or yeah, just keep on talking to Microsoft about it.
Come on, Microsoft, get your shit together.
Yeah.
People want to buy it.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for coming on. I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to talk about with the game, or if you think
yeah, keep looking out for more Shovel Knight stuff. Pick up the amiibo, play it, have fun. Pick up the game on whatever platform and have a good time.
Any kind of updates coming up in the near future we should keep our eyes on?
Not in too near future. I mean, we're heads down for a while to get the rest of the updates out. So we'll peek our heads out of the sand at some point to tell everyone. But yeah, at this point, we're not even sure when they'll come out.
Is Yacht Club trying to make some noise to get the rights to make a new Battletoads game?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean that would be fun, but it's pretty. Like we're having fun making Shovel Knight. So.
I just want to hear Jake do a brand new Battletoads soundtrack.
Yeah, well, I mean his remixes of the old songs were pretty.
Yeah, because I imagine whatever you guys do, Jake is still going to be there doing all the music for you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because he's the best ever.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Well, David, I want to thank you for coming on and doing this show. It has been an absolute blast talking to you. We normally end the show with some music, so I figure we'll play a couple of tracks off of Shovel Knight. Do you have any requests for any of the songs that you want played?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I really like Clockwork Tower is probably my favorite song. So if you want to play that one, go for it.
All right. Well, we will play that one and then a handful of others. Again, I want to thank you for coming on. And for our listeners, do you have any final words to them?
No, just play games, have fun.